Welcome to Jenesis Gems, a podcast for the advice community, where we explore the evolution of advice, brand and marketing, and leadership. I'm your host, Jenny Pearce. This season, we're looking at business through the lens of then, now, next, shining a light on where we've come from, what's driving us today, and where we're heading next. All, of course, with a marketing twist. Let's get into it. Today's guest is someone well known to the profession, Sam Perera, co-founder of Perera Crowther Financial Services. He's not only an advisor, he's a business owner and, most importantly, a passionate advocate for the future of financial advice in Australia. Rather than read his CV, I will hand over to him. Let's take it from here. Welcome, Sam.
Oh, Jen, pleasure to be here and very grateful to be invited to be on your podcast and catch up with an old friend.
Well, it's been a little while. Well, actually, not so long ago. We caught up recently for a very major celebration, so we can touch on that. But what I'd love you to do is give everybody a little bit of an insight into who Perera Crowther Financial Services is and your role in the business.
Very good. And look, I might start by saying we aspire to be a professional firm. And I start with that because as I apologise to you, I'm in my casual Friday gear, but otherwise you'd see me in a crisp white shirt and a tie. But Perera Crowther, we're financial advisors, obviously, in part of the profession, but quite deliberately we focus on risk or insurance in the professional market. We've done that probably since since the get-go, because we feel as though it's a particular niche, it's underserviced, and we do the work well. We're based here in Sydney, originally started the office in the Sutherland Shire, and now we're in the CBD. Service clients, Jen, all over Australia. We've got a significant presence in Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth. A team of 8 cracking people that I get to share my work week with, and that's a high level summary. I'm sure we'll get into some of the details, but risk advice focus based in Sydney.
Right. Well, the truth be known, we've actually known each other for a very long time. I have the pleasure of celebrating your 20th anniversary last year, and I'm actually celebrating my 20th anniversary this year. So
Oh, congratulations. I read about that. How time flies, right?
I know. Oh my goodness, the stories. So the I guess the whole concept of this particular episode, then, now, next, came about because of that 20-year anniversary, and thinking about the how time has brought us to where we are today. But what does that look like for tomorrow? So I want to start with then for you.
Mhm.
Your early journey. What actually brought you to financial advice in the first place?
Yeah, look, a really good question. And of course, it's very fond for me to revisit this when I'm asked this question. And in particular, we reflected on it over the course of the last 12 months as we celebrated our 20th in October. So in 2005, I was studying accounting. I was only 46. Now I'm giving away my age. I was managing a bar down in San Susi, and look, a patron who from the old days, and this is how far we go back, Tony Mason Cox, said, "You got far too much personality to be an accountant, so why don't you come and try financial advice?" And I, there was a personal event in the family, and it led me to believe that nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I paused the accounting study, went and worked for Tony, and I liked it, and I liked it for 2 reasons. I saw him building a business, helping people in terms of insurance, the gravity of which probably didn't dawn on me for a little bit until a little bit later than that. But I also saw Tony build a fabulous business that enabled him to have a very flexible lifestyle. So go and see a client and come back. It wasn't Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. He'd serve who he wanted to serve, and he was building an asset. So exercising my ability to work with people build a business and a valuable asset and a flexible lifetime. So that's probably they're the three major reasons I joined. And of course, I made no sales in the first 6 months. I was just learning it. I didn't know how to sell. I could spell sales, but I didn't know what that was. And Tony had some circumstances which led. He needed to let me go, and that's when I approached you and another mutual friend, Errol Rabot, and you were kind enough to back me along with a couple of other very pivotal and mentors. I got my authority and was mentored and guided under very strict supervision in those early days because I was brand new, and the rest is history. So.
You were very fresh-faced and wet behind the ears.
Not just in 2005, probably for a few years later, but it speaks to the importance of mentorship. You would know, you've been around for a long time, your network is quite deep, how giving people are in our profession, how kind they are, how generous they are with their time, their capital, their intellect, and I've been a great beneficiary of that. So yes, that helped tremendously.
Tiny Mason Cox, that's a name, a real blast from the past.
God rest his soul. Yes, is no longer with us.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But he was quite the character, and believed in the importance of insurance cover more than more than the average. So
Yes, and recorded a record or two as well. But anyway, we won't go out.
he was quite the character. Well, anyway, so I guess that leads us to Perera Crowther. We obviously we've not long celebrated the 20-year anniversary. So just a little bit of a snapshot on how that stage of then began.
Yeah. So look, we started with no clients, Jen, and we had to find clients one by one, if you like, and so it was a hard slog from 2005, and that's important. But we had this belief that we will get there. Our big break came when we were through our licensee, through you guys, where we were introduced to a business which we were servicing their clients. So it gave us an income stream whilst we were able to build our own clientele organically. I often reflect, and it's something that makes me very sad. I feel it'd be tremendously challenging for a young financial advisor to start a business from scratch, even if they had the belief, the intellect, the connections. It's where we find ourselves as a result of the regulatory hurdles, the red tape, etc. It would be awfully challenging, and that's a tragedy. And I hope that won't be forever, and that might change in time. But certainly, so started from scratch, one by one, and then a few years later, again with the help of the dealer group, we were able to acquire a small business, Errol Shivers's business, as he was retiring, and that was a great leg up for us, and of course started our appetite in terms of acquisitions. We've since purchased 5 businesses, some very small businesses. In fact, 3 former colleagues of our dealer group that when they retired, they trusted us to look after their clients. I'm so very grateful that they did, up to a very large acquisition in 2021. So the business evolved organically, joint ventures, and acquisitions as well. But very hard. Russ Collins, my great mentor and friend, and Russell, who presented at a PD day, and out of about 140 people in the room, I remember the story. He gave an hour and a half presentation, and I was taking notes, etc., as were many other people. But he put on a workshop for 2 days, and the workshop cost $500, which is a lot of money 20 years ago. It's still a lot of money now. And Russell said, anyone wants to attend, take a form. And I remember I was the only one, and my former partner, Josh Crowther, that attended that workshop. It was the best $500 we spent. We didn't have the $500 each, but I got the sense that if I was to invest in my education, go that extra mile, I'll be able to have great success, and we'll be able to have great success and perhaps differentiate ourselves from our peers that don't invest in their education or invest. We were talking a little bit earlier about the evolution in business and how you shouldn't get complacent and you change and pivot direction. So invested in education up front as well. So yeah, long-winded answer, but
But very true and very honest answer. So, obviously, that first period of time, there's a lot going on, and we tend to be captains of the ship, the deckhand, chief cook and bottle washer, the lot.
yes.
And you're quite right. As new market entrants, it to literally start up today would be a greater challenge than I think where, in 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, it was possibly a little more organic. And there were just, there were more, the stepping stones were much easier. Back in the day,
Yes.
back in the day, I'm wondering, did you ever actually stop and think about marketing? Did you like what form did marketing take? Was it picking up the telephone and doing the calls face to face? Was it leaflet drops? Was it going and speaking at the local club, or in doing a seminar? What was there a business brand? What did marketing in a nutshell look like back then?
Really good question, and I'm laughing because we were absolutely hopeless. We had no idea, and fake it till you make it. But I remember, coasters with our details on it at bars. I mean, it's cringe. Right? Yellow Pages ideas. I mean, do people even know what Yellow Pages is?
Or local
Yes.
or local newspaper advertising.
Local newspaper advertising and, MDRT, they'd say, well, find out, and these were some early ideas because, of course, many of my mentors were, MDRT legends. And as a result of some of those sessions, I'll find out who's bought a home in that area, do mail outs and magnets and you name it, we tried it. It was a scattergun approach. Probably appropriate to a certain extent at that particular, in that era. In that era, it was only 20 years ago, but 20 years is a long time.
Well, that's an era.
It's an era. To the extent that, and I used to hate it. I used to have to. I'd pick up the Yellow Pages and I'd ring people. I'd have a list of calls to make, and it was essentially cold calling. And I recounted at our speech. Aussies love a battler. Aussies love someone that's having a go, and I appeal to that decency, that egalitarianism, and I'd pick up the phone and I'd say, "G'day, it's Sam here. We've just started a business in Caringbah. We're in insurance. Would you mind giving us a go? Can we have a look at your cover and can we quote it, etc." And we'd get some details, fax away a quote. I mean, was it compliant? I don't know. Do faxes exist? I don't know, but
Faxes existed, yes.
well, do they still exist?
I don't think they do they? Oh, no, they do. If you're in the health profession, yes, they do.
Yes. So, look, not very sophisticated at all, but a ferocious appetite to succeed. Didn't have the capital to undertake a marketing campaign, which you might chime in on and say, Sam, well, you didn't really need a great deal of capital. You just needed to think about it a little bit. But yeah, that was the extent of our initial marketing in those 2 or 3 years.
Oh my goodness. Look, I do recall a lot of that, and, yes, I do remember the coasters.
I've got a file in the back corner there. It's got nostalgia and it's got some of those ads and coasters and
Oh,
elite excerpts. But yes.
I think we've all got a little bit of a memory lane, section in it, whether it's on our computers or on a bookshelf. I want to just shift gears now and move into now because obviously we could literally talk about the next 20 years for this whole episode, probably. And I could probably talk about some different things that would, definitely give us both a laugh or two. But I do want to to really take the journey. And I do want to talk about now a little bit more. Obviously, as the business has morphed over the years, and you've mentioned a little bit about purchasing books of business, JVs, organic growth, et cetera, I'm sure that you've spent time really refining who it is that you want to serve and just what sets you apart. So can you share a little bit about that for what the business looks like today?
Yeah, sure. And I might start with the easy one in terms of who it is that we're targeting, and we love to work in the professional market, and we do that, Jen. And again, it's a Russell Collins says professionals value advice because they're in the business of giving advice. They also have the capacity to pay the premiums that make it worthwhile for us to serve them. So they've got the economic capacity. And thirdly, professionals typically are able to make decisions based on facts. Put the facts in front of them. These are the circumstances that can arise if you were sick or injured. What do you want to do? And trust you have the capacity to pay. So, and I feel very comfortable in a shirt and a tie and going back. Marketing's not necessary, and you would know better than me, but I was thinking marketing's not necessarily a brochure or a website or a social media ad. I used to be in a crisp white shirt and trousers and a tie in suburban carrying bar for a long time, and many of my peers didn't, and I'm dressed like this now. But I was
There's just something strange about that.
I was always very comfortable, and in a boardroom, in a corporate office, and I still am. A small business is the length and the breadth of the shadow of their owner, so I guess there's an element of that. We've always been on that journey. Initially, some of that marketing was targeted towards the blue collar, etc., because that's where Tony Mason Cox worked. But through the acquisition of CRW and the joint venture with Concierge Enterprises, we got access to the white collar market very early on. We've got a terrific opportunity to do the corporate superannuation and insurance needs for a pharmacy group. Through a contact I was studying accounting with. So that was our foray, and then we've just kept refining it, and now almost exclusively we work in the professional services market, offering retail insurance solutions and or business succession planning as well. More and more business succession planning work because, again, I think my technical love of the law, tax, and insurance, all of those converge well, in delivering succession planning advice. And there are not many people doing it. So there are not many riskies in Australia, and then there are not many riskies that can specialise in confidently talk about business succession planning work, project managing, giving accountants and lawyers directions on that. So they're the types of clients that we're looking for. We're specifically looking at growing, our group business. We've got a decent group business for principally a retail practice, and we think there's terrific opportunities to serve more Australians, to get more Australians insured through that vehicle. And so that's a part of the growth agenda over the course of the next 3 years. So that's the market. Did I? Was that was?
Yeah, no, you answered. That's exactly what I wanted.
What sets us apart? Is that what you wanted?
Yeah,
to get
that's
to?
it. That's probably what you just said. It's the fact that you have got those sort of unique offerings, I suppose.
Yeah. Look, and you got to meet some of them all of them at the 20th anniversary. You may not have got a chance to go and say hello, but our team, I was on a panel at the end of last year on around the 20th, and I said, we've got the best team in the country, and not bragging on, and you can't measure that. And it's just, they are just quality human beings that bring the best version of themselves. They've got the right values, integrity, that just love and care and serve our clients. I'll give you a really quick example, and you tell me if I'm going on
No, no, go.
too long. One of our clients, it's a smallish premium in the context. So one of our almost original clients, smallish premium in the context of some of the premiums our clients pay today. Having a tough time on a level premium, behind our team constantly. Can we help? Can we do something? Probably made 10 phone calls to him, and they kept me in the loop. And even yesterday or the 2 days before, it's about to lapse. We've got to do something. We did something where he reached out to the insurer. We said, look, one of our original clients, young family still, we don't want to let it go. Can we work with you? That is an example of, and you would know this with your clients and small business, going that extra mile. And at the end of it, we just walked over to one another, high five one another. We said, we saved Tubby,
Mm.
and it would have my inbox, like your inbox and our team's inbox, you get hundreds of emails, over a week. We could have just said, oh, he doesn't want to pay, it's going to lapse, let it go. But it's going that extra mile, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just being prepared to never give up when you've got somebody else's best interests at heart. What you do for yourself is different. I think what you do
Yeah.
for others is another level again.
Yeah, and look, I probably need to get your advice on this off the podcast, of course. But when I'm thinking about a tagline, not that, yeah, I mean, you may or may not need a tagline. I kind of like the idea of we want to be and shoot the lights, shoot holes in this, but we would like to be the safest set of hands for professionals in Australia that decide that they want insurance advice and want to become better purchasers of insurance. Safest set of hands. And what does that mean? That means if you have a claim, we will be there. We will come to you. We will ensure it gets done, and we'll use our network with insurers, the deep connections, etc. You've got, you're going to be safe, and we've got your interests at heart. So that's what we aspire to do and be. And I think that service and our team probably stands us apart from some of our competitors.
I think you're on the right track with your tagline. But just need to make it short. So your messages can be long, but your tagline needs to be short.
Okay, there you are. I'm so glad I said yes to Genesis Gems.
That's free advice, I think. Okay. I just want to take a little bit of a step with this one because you have a multi-tiered career. You've obviously done a lot of work in the background, building the business, and obviously and being being mentored and being a mentor yourself. But probably one of the big, I guess, steps you took was the AFA presidency. And you've been known for your work in regulatory reform. What kept you motivated in that time, and still does to continue to work on reform for this particular profession?
Yeah. Look, I think we're mostly givers. We're sort of lifters and not leaners in the words of the great Robert Menzies in The Forgotten People. It's a vocation. It is not a job. And through my access to the mentors that I've had, it's very early on. Another name that you'll know, James Harmon, said, mate, join the professional association.
Mm.
Wasn't compulsory. Join the AFA because you can put the certificate up. You're a profession because you're ascribed to a code of ethics, which the AFA had. So it's that interest, and then I was grateful to be able to, be pulled into a working group, Mark Bynum and Phil Anderson some years ago. And I just felt if we can help shape our profession, contribute, it's worthwhile. So it's you're not a victim. You're on the front line, being part of the conversations, and of course, the more you get involved, you realize that more needs to be done. Even now, contributions behind the scenes. I was in Melbourne, caught up with a senior executive and talking about the life insurance market. Why? Because I want to make sure my clients are getting a fair deal. I
Mm,
want to ensure that Australians have competition when they're choosing an insurer. I want to ensure that my peers are profitable and running practices that give them a good standard of living so they can continue to do what they do.
mm,
Um, so for all of those reasons, the insurers will win, the clients will win, I will win. I don't really think about that being my motivation. I just feel I'm lucky. We spoke about amplifying voices that when I still send a message or make a call, people will give me the time of day to contribute. And I think if nobody contributes, it doesn't go anywhere. But I think I'm doing it for everybody's interests, and ultimately I will be the beneficiary of some of the advocacy work. But I'm very privileged. There is the greatest professional privilege of my, professional career, rather, leading the AFA. Yeah.
yeah. Well, you certainly were there at a pivotal time. Uh,
Absolutely.
let's shift back to, Perera Crowther, because obviously that's the centerpiece of this conversation. Well,
Mhm.
actually, you are, but but I want to talk about, the now. We often in business and as business owners, we kind of get caught in the things that aren't working, and we don't often sit back and go, you know what, this is working really damn well.
Mm.
We don't often recognize and appreciate the stuff that's great. And I just wonder what's working really well for you and the team right now.
Yeah, look, I think by hook or crook, the way we've organised the business and the functions, if you like, so we segregate by someone's responsible for new business, someone's responsible for underwriting, etc. So a very clear focus on what it is we do and what it is that we're building expertise. Vertically, if you like. That being said, because we're a small team, I've aid almost everyone across the horizontals has a sense of what the other people are doing and the client journey. So I think the way we've arranged our job functions works really well. Our renewal process, of course, as well. It's a tough insurance market in life insurance at the moment. The way we've systemized, we use some tech CDM to manage our renewals process. So that's working really well as well. Something we want to get better at. And I would like to be get to a point where hopefully in the next 6 to 12 months where we can upload a scribble, so one page a fact find of my notes, a quote, some existing policies, and some research and some data to be able to spit out an SOA. So the use of artificial intelligence to enable us to serve more clients would be a dream. So I feel we're very efficient. I feel as though we use tech well. If we can serve more clients more efficiently, I think that would be the target or the aim of, and perhaps where where we're not a perfect score or a B, we're probably a C in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Like most practices, I'd imagine, Jen.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a good segue into next
Mm.
and looking ahead. So obviously, there's a lot going on. The business is in a good space, and you're very happy with where you are, but there's more work to do. What is on the horizon? Is it more work in that tech space, so scalability, or is it about refinement? Let's face it, the art of reinvention is intention. And for me, I'm just sort of wondering what's the intent over the coming years. I'm quite sure you've got another 20 years up that sleeve. I'm not sure about me, but I know you are.
Well, I mean, look, with all the advances, we'll all be living to 150, and you'll have our universal basic income, and we won't have to work, and we'll all have our own little robot that does everything for us. It's a really good question. I reflect a lot. I think one of the successes is that I as much as I love the advice and whatever, I've tended to always think like a bit of a business owner over the years, and it's perhaps the accounting and budding accountant in me that was back then. So as I think about where we're going to next, succession planning is on my mind, has been on my mind, and will continue to be on my mind. We've built a great business. Now we've got some great talent, people that have been with me for a long time, and some more recent that, what does their future look like? What does my future look like in terms of there's some key man risk there, etc. So succession planning will be inevitably something that I'll turn my mind to. I said last year, but last year was a celebratory year. So this year, I think that's vitally important to me. We can't be giving advice to our clients. A financial advisor can't be saying to people, manage your money in this way, have a bucket of money for this way, investments here, and not have their financial house in order. Like that just ekes me, right? And
Yeah.
similarly, if I'm, giving advice on succession planning, I better have, my succession plan in order. So that will be a priority. I must say, we were talking a little bit earlier. In the last 2 years, I've got a renewed sense of youth, and
You've had some over.
yeah, as we said, you've always taken pride in your appearance, and you're looking fantastic, and
We'll
it's
take
it's
it.
it's. But look, I had to ask myself some tough questions personally, which were quite transformative on or around this time 2 years ago. Friction in this area, friction in this area, friction in that area. Hang on a minute, what's the common denominator? Me. So the only way out is to go in, and it's probably the most important work I've done in my life is the work I've done on myself over the last couple of years. As a result, I'm the beneficiary. My family, my friends, my loved ones are the beneficiary, and my clients are the beneficiary. So work to me, I've always felt it's a vocation, but like I was talking last Friday to someone, I just don't feel like it's work. I come, I enjoy it, thankfully we've got a great business and great clientele. So I don't feel as though I need to run anywhere nothing is broken per se. But certainly succession plan is the big ticket item. Operationally, continue to get some efficiencies in AI to serve more clients, and then build our group business are probably the three things that we want to work on over the course of the next 12 months.
And a tagline.
and a and a shorter tagline, but
And a shorter tagline.
we will have coffee.
That's got to do my head, and I'm going to be working on that all weekend.
We will have coffee and work on it.
I'll be in there. Yep. Yep.
Creative mode.
Exactly.
I don't have pencils. I'm not a colour-inner on foot.
Mate.
Give me an insurance problem, Jen. I could solve it.
Oh well, as my darling husband would say, every color of the rainbow, and he's black and white, and that's why we work, because he gets the job done, and I just talk about the rainbow until we get the right results.
It's all about complement and balance.
Exactly. Okay, so great answer, by the way, and thank you for that. I want to talk a little bit about. You've mentioned succession planning, which is, I think, is on the, when you've been in business 20 years or 30 years or even 10 years, you're sort of always thinking about what's next, what does next look like? And I think, as I said, having, reinvention is knowing what the intent is. And I think, we do seem to have this roadblock for what does, the new advisor do, the young advisors do. And for those that are considering it as a career, you've got younger team members, obviously, and you've got team members that have been with you since the beginning. In terms of opportunity and purpose, like, what would you be saying to a young advisor that's considering advice as a career path?
Yeah, look, apologies for that noise. It's a lovely day in Sydney, as you will know. So there's a crowd gathering to get on board a boat soon to enjoy the lovely Sydney. So they're having a couple of glasses of champagne, Bear,
Okay.
bear with us. I'm here. But I still feel as though it's a tremendous profession. There's a tremendous opportunity. Where else, we were talking earlier and you said to me, I feel, Sam, clients just want to know, that you get them, you understand them, you understand their pain points and you can empathize in terms of where they want to go. What greater, profession is there to be able to help someone craft their dreams and their goals and so future proof? Lawyers deal in problems. Accountants often not deal in historical data, compliance, etc. We get to deal in the future. And a good financial advisor can make a great living in Australia as well. So, the economic returns for your efforts are there. You get to work with people's, dreams. That's a tick. And there's a short supply. So I would encourage anyone and everyone that is thinking about, getting into advice, to get into advice. And of course, we know that there's an unmet need that will continue to grow as well. Um, Finding the right practice to get into, I think, is vitally important,
Yeah.
right? If it doesn't feel right, if you're a relationship person, that this particular business is only focused on KPIs, they're transactional, you kind of got to get out. And I would like to think most of our peers are not like that. We have numbers, we have goals and whatever, but the numbers come second to, client service, etc. So finding the right practice to be mentored and tutored under, I think is a very important decision once you get into the profession. And lastly, I would suggest turn your mind into what you feel as though is the area that you want to specialize in,
Y-
which has insurance. Now, that may not be it for everyone. Aged care might be, give you great joy. So finding a speciality as opposed to being a generalist, I would think would also help accelerate growth and accelerate the career path and specialization. So join, no doubt about it, but with the right practice and work out where you want to specialize in. Quick, smart would be my 3 takeaways, if you like.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, if there was something you could influence in regards to the profession over the next few years, short answer, what would your focus be on?
I really think the profession ought to turn its mind to um, what the world will look like economically and otherwise as a result of artificial intelligence. It's not coming, it's here. It will accelerate significantly. Does that mean most of Australia, middle Australia, gets their advice through some sort of augmented, artificial intelligence capability? If that is the case, well, where does the profession play? And my sense is the profession will play with sophisticated clients that have complex needs, and most Australians should be able to get their advice at next to no cost at mass scale through some very sophisticated artificial capabilities. And I think we would be doing ourselves a great disservice if we didn't turn our mind to that. Yeah, in earnest to work out which area, which space we want to play in.
Yeah, well, very good answer, and I think one for now.
Yes.
I think if we don't start thinking about it now, we're kind of going to miss the boat. So, so my
Absolutely.
closing question to you.
Miss the boat.
Yeah, sorry. Next stop. I'm trying to be quick.
Oh,
Closing question. Looking back, what's one pivotal moment that changed the course of your journey from then to now? And you've mentioned, a couple of years ago, almost a personal reflection piece. But was there something else, or is that the I guess the diamond in the rough in regards to your pivotal moment? But is there something that you just went in that then to now, that you go, yeah, that was it.
Yeah, meeting Russell Collins, I think professionally, God love him. And Tony's business he had some great relationships, but is largely transactional because of the style of client base. Russell Collins opened my eyes to the relationship aspect of the profession, and I think that was life changing. The person that probably has had the most impact on my professional career, and as a consequence, it probably shaped me into getting involved with MDRT, getting involved with the AFA, the way we go about servicing our clients. So without that, I think the journey would have been very, very, very different. So that was pivotal, and of course, I think the work I've done on myself over the last couple of years, which brings a very different Sam Perera to my clients and those around me. I think you're always evolving, and I think that's going to be pivotal. I'm going to approach the next 2 decades with a very different mindset, a more of a flow mindset as opposed to force through mindset. And I would like to think that's certainly been very pivotal personally. But I think the two merge. The length and shadow of the owner is, length and breadth of the shadow of the owner is what a small business is. So that's my quick answer. But yes.
Very, very good. And I would say to you that in the many years that I have known you, that the true essence of who you are has never been lost. So I think we all have to do work on ourselves, the best thing of all of that is that you recognised it. So that's the big step forward for me.
Thank you, Jen. It's very, very kind of you. And this is the best podcast that I've done many, and I've have many interviews and many panels and whatever. But this is it's been really enjoyable. So I've been chatting to an old friend. So very grateful.
That's true. So thank you, Sam, for your honesty, your insights, for being such a committed voice to everything that you bring to the world of advice. I'm pretty sure that Perera Crowther is in very safe hands. Get that. The next time I see you, I want to be talking more about your marketing, and I want to see a Perera Crowther cap on that head.
It's not on brand.
Yes, exactly. It's been a pleasure having you on Jenesis Gems podcast. Thank you so much, my friend, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you, Jen. Wonderful to be here, and have a great weekend.
You too.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to the Jenesis Gems podcast. This season marks 20 years of Jenesis, and it's all about reflecting on where we've come from, recognising the momentum we've built, and imagining what's next. If today's conversation sparks something for you, make sure to subscribe and share it with a colleague. And if you're ready to explore your then now next story, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep turning your ideas into reality.